Humanity had learned patience the hard way, through centuries of quiet endurance, through treaties written in alien languages, and promises that dissolved like vapor in cold space. When the first extraterrestrial alliance arrived, they did not come with weapons blazing but with smiles sharpened like knives, offering protection, trade, and unity. At first, humanity believed them, because hope had always been our greatest weakness. The Galactic Compact declared Earth a junior species, a developing civilization unfit to vote, but perfect to exploit. Our oceans were taxed for minerals, our skies regulated, our colonies reassigned under the banner of interstellar balance. Any protest was met with polite dismissal, followed by sanctions that strangled economies without firing a single shot. Human leaders debated endlessly, while alien observers sat calmly, recording everything. Amused by how easily humans argued among themselves, the Compact called it order, but humanity felt it as a slow suffocation. Generations grew up knowing alien law was above human law, that human lives were valued less than trade routes and energy quotas. Still, humanity waited, believing fairness would eventually arrive, believing patience was strength. What the galaxy never understood was that patience, when stretched too far, does not fade, it snaps. And the first crack formed the day the moons of Jakarta Station were taken without negotiation. Millions displaced, thousands dead, and the Compact declared it a necessary correction. That was the day silence stopped being peaceful. That was the day humanity began to remember every insult, every broken promise, every life dismissed as acceptable loss. The galaxy mistook restraint for weakness. They would soon learn the difference. Humanity did not rage immediately, because rage was expected. Instead, we studied, we observed, we archived. Every species had patterns, fears, cultural taboos, dependencies they never imagined could be used against them. Human intelligence networks expanded quietly, not just militarily but culturally, economically, psychologically. We learned which species could not survive long without specific radiation, which empires depended on singular trade hubs, which alliances were bound by tradition rather than trust. The Compact laughed at human research vessels, believing them harmless. They did not realize those vessels carried historians instead of soldiers. Humanity remembered something the galaxy had forgotten. History is a weapon. We remembered our own past, our wars, our revolutions, our collapses and rebirths. We remembered that every empire believes it is eternal, right up until the moment it is not. While the galaxy expanded outward, humanity dug inward, forging unity through shared grievance. Borders softened, rivalries cooled, not because humanity became kinder, but because anger finally had a common direction. The phrase, breaking point, entered human discourse, not as a threat, but as a promise. The Compact continued to push, increasing resource demands, enforcing population controls on human colonies. They believed humans would adapt. They were wrong. When the first human delegation walked out of the Galactic Assembly in silence, no one stopped them. Why would they? To the galaxy, humans were still insignificant. That arrogance became the final ingredient. The breaking point did not come with a declaration of war. It came with a broadcast. Every human world, station, and ship received the same message at the same moment. No slogans, no shouting, no threats, only facts. Humanity listed every violation, every forced relocation, every economic manipulation, every death classified as collateral. The broadcast ended with a single statement, calm and precise: humanity withdraws consent. The galaxy did not understand at first, because consent had never mattered before. Then the systems went dark. Trade routes collapsed within hours, as human-managed infrastructure shut down across dozens of empires. Navigation networks failed, not hacked, simply withdrawn. Human engineers had built more of the galactic backbone than anyone realized. When questioned, humanity responded with silence. Then came the second phase. Human fleets did not attack capitals or civilian worlds. They targeted symbols, shipyards that enforced compact law, monitoring arrays that tracked population compliance, archive worlds that erased inconvenient history. Every strike was precise, restrained, undeniable. For the first time, alien empires felt uncertainty. They demanded negotiations, threatened retaliation, invoked ancient accords. Humanity answered with the same sentence every time: you had our patience. You spent it. The galaxy began to understand that this was not rebellion. This was consequence. War followed, because pride always demands punishment. But the war did not unfold as expected. Humanity did not fight to conquer, but to demonstrate. Every defeated fleet was allowed to retreat, carrying stories back to their homeworlds. Every spared planet became a warning rather than a trophy. Alien populations watched their leaders struggle against an enemy that refused to be reckless, refused to be cruel, that terrified them more than brutality ever could. The phrase spread across stars, "Do not test human patience." Species that had once mocked humanity now studied human history in fear. They learned of Earth's past, of empires that fell after overreach, of wars survived through sheer refusal to surrender. They learned that humans do not forget. The compact fractured, not from human conquest, but from internal blame and mistrust. Allies turned on each other, wondering who would be next. Humanity offered peace, but not forgiveness. New treaties were written with human language at the core, emphasizing consent, autonomy, memory. Some species resisted and vanished from relevance. Not exterminated, but isolated, cut off from networks humanity controlled. In time, even the proudest learned humility. Because survival required it. Long after the war ended, the galaxy changed in subtle ways. Diplomats spoke more carefully. Commanders hesitated longer. Councils listened when humans spoke. The movement humanity began was not one of domination, but of boundary. A reminder written into the structure of interstellar civilization. Patience is not infinite. Humanity rebuilt. Not monuments to victory, but archives. They preserved every record of the era, every name, every decision, not to glorify suffering, but to prevent erasure. Children across human worlds learned the story not as propaganda, but as warning, and across alien worlds. The same story was taught with a different tone, as caution, as memory. Because no species will ever forget the moment humanity reached the breaking point of patience. They will remember that silence does not mean acceptance, that endurance is not weakness, and that when humanity finally speaks as one, the universe listens.